Hi, fifth grade. Welcome back from the weekend. All right. Do you remember what this is? This is a place value chart. Um, we're going to review decimals. Now, when we talk about decimals, we can say decimals in words like this. And decimals and fractions are related, okay? 1/10. What I'm going to do is, if you look at the place value chart here, okay, I'm going to write the word 1/10 in my place value chart, okay? But before I do that, okay, let's look at the fraction. Do you remember how to write 1/10 as a fraction? Remember, tenth, okay? That goes in the denominator, and the numerator is this, 1. Let's look at 5/10. What goes in the denominator? What goes in the numerator? Tenths. That goes in the denominator. 5 goes in the numerator. Is this coming back to you? What about 400ths? What goes in the denominator and what goes in the numerator? Hundredths goes in the denominator, 100, and 4 goes in the numerator. What about this 1200ths? And this would be 100 in the denominator and 12 in the numerator. Okay, so now that we know how these words are related to the fraction, we're going to see how to write them in the place value chart so we can know how to write it as a decimal. Okay, so 1/10, that means I'm going to put a 1 in the tenths column and nothing else. So here's my decimal point. So I'm going to put a 0 in the ones just to show that it's 0.1. Okay. So my 1/10 is my decimal 0.1. What about 5/10? Well, 5/10, I'm going to put a 5 in the tenths column and a 0 here. So 5/10 is written as 0.5. So 5/10 is written as 0.5. What about 400ths? Well, let's see. I have my tenths column here. I have my hundredths column here. So I'm going to put a 4 in my hundredths column. And there's nothing here. There's nothing here. So I'm going to put a 0. So my decimal for 400ths is 0.04 because it's 4 hundredths. You see that? Okay. So it's 0.04 is 4 hundredths. What about 1200ths? Well, let's see. So 1200ths, let's see. I'm going to put a 12 in my hundredths column. Wait a minute. Can I do that? No. In each of my place value columns, I can only put a single digit in there. So it could be a 0 or a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or a 5 or a 6 or a 7 or a 8 or a 9. But I cannot put a double digit, triple digit, quadruple digit in one single place value column. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the 2 and I'm going to transfer the 1 here. Okay, so now this reads as 12 hundredths. Okay, and I'm going to put a 0 here. So this is 0.12. So 12 hundredths is 0.12. Now you see this fraction here and this decimal? The way that we read it will be the same. I know this fraction here is read as 12 hundredths. This decimal here is also read as 12 hundredths. You can also say 0.12 if you want, or 0.12, okay? But you can also say 1200ths for the decimal, just as you would for the fraction here. Okay, so that was just a little bit of review of decimals. Now, let's also see how decimals work on a number line. Do you remember number lines? Well, let's look at a number line from 1 to 10, okay? It's actually 0 to 10 because it's here, right? And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each of the spacings on the number line should be equal, okay? So they should be drawn to scale. I drew this by hand, so maybe it is not perfectly drawn to scale, but you get the idea. Now, let's look at a number line between 0 tenths and 1 and 0 tenths. Okay, so this is 0, 0.0, 0, 0.1, 0, 0.2, 0, 0.3, 0, 0.4, 0, 0.5, 0, 0.6, 0, 0.7, 0, 0.8, 0, 0.9, and 1.0. Let's add the fractions. So this is the same thing as saying 0 tenths, 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths, and 10 tenths, which is the same thing as 1, which is the same thing as 1.0. All right, let's look at the hundredths. This is 0 hundredths to 1 and 0 hundredths. Okay, I have 0, 0.00, 0, 0.10, 0, 0.20, 0, 0.30, 0, 0.40, 0, 0.50, 0, 0.60, 0, 0.70, 0, 0.80, 0, 0.90, and 1.00. Let's write it in fraction form. This is the same thing as saying 0 hundredths, 10 hundredths, 20 hundredths, 30 hundredths, 40 hundredths, 50 hundredths, 60 hundredths, 70 hundredths, 80 hundredths, 90 hundredths, 100 hundredths, which is the same thing as saying 1 or 1.00. Now let's take a closer look in between 0.40 and 0.50, okay, which is 40 hundredths and 50 hundredths. We're going to try to draw 10 more spaces in between, equal spaces in between 0.40 and 0.50. So halfway mark, halfway between 40 hundredths and 50 hundredths is what hundredths? It's right there, but what is that? It is 45 hundredths, right? Halfway between 40 hundredths and 50 hundredths is 45 hundredths. Okay, now from here to here, okay, we can see it's really small, but here is 41 hundredths, 42 hundredths, 43 hundredths, 44 hundredths, 45 hundredths, 46 hundredths, 47 hundredths, 48 hundredths, 49 hundredths, and 50 hundredths. Okay. All right. So now we're going to practice multiplying tenths and decimals with one decimal place by a whole number. Let's take a look. Okay, so it says multiplying 0.2 by 4. So the first method is we can look at a number line, and you want 4 groups of 0.2, okay? So I notice on this number line from here to here, that's 0.2. From here to here, that's 0.2. From here to here, there's 0.2. From here to here, that's 0.2, okay? So I want 4 groups of 0.2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I land on 0.8. So that's one way to do it, by looking at a number line. Another way is we can look at a place value chart. So here I have 2 tenths, 4 groups of 2 tenths. Do you see that? 2 tenths, 2 tenths, 2 tenths, 2 tenths. I wrote it out like this, okay, like 4 groups of 2 tenths, okay, and we can just add them together, okay, all right, it's 4 groups of 2 tenths, which is 2, 4, 6, 8 is 8 tenths, it's 8 tenths. Now we can also multiply it like this, okay, by stacking it up. Now, if we stack it up, okay, notice here I have my decimal 0.2 and I'm multiplying it by how many groups there are, 4. I'm not writing my 4 in the ones place, okay, because I am multiplying by how many groups there are. So you can just leave it here in the lowest place value column, okay, when you multiply, all right? Although 4 is the same thing as 4.0, we're not going to do that here. You can just multiply 0.2 times 4 because it's the same thing as saying 4 groups of 0.2. Okay, and we're putting 4 underneath the tenths because that's the lowest place value, okay, in the decimal. So now what do we need to do? For now, ignore the decimal point, okay? So pretend we're just multiplying like we would normally multiply. So we're going to multiply 4 times 2, right? 4 times 2 is 8, and we're going to put it here. Then we're going to multiply this way, right? We're going to do 4 times 0, which is 0. Now we're going to drop the decimal point right here, straight down, okay? The decimal point in the product is directly below the decimal point in the factor, okay? So the product is the answer to a multiplication problem, and so the decimal point is right below, right here, okay? What's in the factor, all right? Okay, so your answer is 0.8. Oh, I guess there was something else there. Now, let's look here. Okay? It says 4 times 2 tenths is equal to how many tenths? So when you do that, we're going to just look at the 4 and the 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. And we're just going to write the tenths here. Okay? So this is another way to do it. 4 groups of 2 tenths is 8 tenths. All right, here's another example. So multiply 2.4 by 3. So again, notice the 3, we put it right here underneath the lowest place value column in the decimal here, which is underneath the tenths, okay? So for now, ignore the decimal point and we'll put it in later, okay? Pretend it's 24 times 3, not 2.4 times 3, okay? So 4 times 3 is 12. Put the 1 here. Now I have to do 3 times 2, which is 6, then add the 1, which is a 7. And now I'm going to drop the decimal point straight down. Okay, so now it's 7.2. And that's your answer of 2.4 times 3. Alright, now it's your turn. Please try and do this on your own. Let me just increase my video screen. I don't think Amy might help it for me to write it on my board, but we'll see. Okay, so pause the video and try it on your own, and let's check your answers together when you're ready. Alright, welcome back. So let's look at number 1. We have 2 times 3 tenths is, when we have that, we're going to just look at the numbers and multiply. 2 times 3 is 6, so that's 6 tenths. And if I want to write 6 tenths here, okay, well, in my place value chart, I'm going to write a 6 in the tenths column only, okay? And that's it. And here's a 0. Okay? So 6/10 is the same thing as saying 0.6. All right, let's take a look at number 2. We've got 3 times 6/10 is 18/10. Okay, and 18/10. So if I want to write 18 here in the tens column, can I do this? Can I squeeze in a 2-digit number in one place value column? No, I can't. So I'm going to keep the 8 there. I'm going to move the 1 over here. Okay? It's 1 and 8/10. So 1, 1, and 8/10. All right, and how do I write that? That is 1.8. Okay? All right. Okay. All right. Why don't you try and do this on your own, and let's check your answers when you're ready. Okay? You must be ready. All right, let's look at 3. So we're going to just do this, 2 times 3, which is 6. Then we have to do 0 times 3, which is 0. And then we're going to drop the decimal point, and that is 0.6. Let's look at number 4. We're going to do 8 times 6, which is 48. Okay. So 48, right? And then we're going to do 8 times 0, which is 0, plus 4, which is 4. Then I'm going to drop the decimal point, so it's 4.8. Let's look at number 5. Number 5, I'm going to do 2 times 9, which is 18, over here. And then I'm going to do 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 1, which is 9. Oh, that's a 9, sorry, not an 8. And drop the decimal point, so it should be 9.8, not 8.8 here. Sorry, this is 9.8, not 8.8. Okay. All right, let's look here at number 6. We're going to do 7 times 7, which is 49. And then we're going to do 7 times 3, which is 21, plus 4, which is 25. And then we're going to drop the decimal point. So it is 25.9. All right, how'd you do? Did you solve it like a boss? I bet you did. All right. Well, that's all for now, and I will see you tomorrow in Video Land. Have a good day. Bye.